Hi everyone, number one Marmaduke fan here, and it's time for another double manga death battle. All right, so first we've got Pandora Hearts by Jun Mochizuki, who is the same creative team. It's a group of people who worked on the case study of Vanitas, which is one of my favorite manga of the past year. Pandora Hearts was, I think, their previous manga. I think it's about 10 years older than the case study of Vanitas. And what I like about it is it's kind of interesting if you see a manga artist you really, really like and really respect, and then go back 10 years. It's sort of like, oh yeah, this is still really good manga, but it's just you can tell they were 10 years less experienced when they made it. Not quite as much detail. The fight scenes are really kicking, but don't have quite like the same like really brilliant, really careful plotting that the case study of Vanitas does. And I'm not digging it. I'm just saying compared to the like absolute brilliant experience of that one, you can tell they were a little less experienced, but it's still good. That's what's interesting about it. It's like I've rewound in time to see like the younger, hungrier, less experienced version of them telling the story. So Pandora Hearts, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it enough that I will read volume 2 if I find it. Obviously, I enjoyed Case Study of Vanitas more, and I'll be looking for more of that one. But it follows forgettable name boy who is like the rich son who is coming of age and will inherit like the family title, and then these creepy guys in cloaks show up and say that he's guilty of some sort of mortal sin that he has no idea he's done anything wrong, and they condemn him to the abyss. While in the abyss, he runs into this beautiful black-haired girl who says her name is Alice, and she transforms into what's called a bee rabbit, and it sort of stands for like blood rabbit or black rabbit. And so she's like this really tough girl who like destroys all the monsters and is trapped in the abyss. And she wants to work with the handsome young boy to get out of the abyss and return to the human world. There's also like a lot of like fancy dress up and like servants and pageantry and fancy English suits, and I enjoyed it. It's a little straightforward. It's a little generic. Like I feel like I've read manga like it before. And it's a little bit like if you're not a weeb, like they make some references to weeb culture within it. But I have tons of respect for Jun Mochizuki, and I actually want to find the creative team that are thanked at the end, because this is like, I wish they would do this all the time, is show off all the people who contribute to these. So we got, let me focus that so you can see that. So yeah, what's interesting about these is because they have like a wide creative team, they'll like split up the work, and someone who's really good at like, I don't know, like fancy costumes will tackle that side of it, and someone who's good at backgrounds will tackle that side of it. And it shows in the quality of the work. So a fun romp with some mysteries to it, like all the mysterious groups who are after the boy, and the people who want to keep the demons trapped, and then the people who are just like the police investigating the demons but don't seem like bad guys, and then the demons themselves. I'll read more and tell you what I think. Not the strongest volume 1 I've read all year, but strong enough that I have so much respect for Jun Mochizuki that I will check out more. We'll see. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 volumes before you decide it's either really grabbing you or isn't doing much for you at all. Blackbird by Kanoko Sakura Koji. Okay, so this is volume 2. I couldn't find volume 1, but it did a good job catching me up to speed. Because of my training in like a postmodern art school, I tend to look at things through 2 lenses, like my own lens, and then also through like the progressive, problematic elements lens. And so what's interesting about Blackbird is it is very, very problematic. Like Kanoko Sakura Kuji, she clearly has a thing for like really assertive, really aggressive guys. And let me tell you the setup of Blackbird, because I actually like the setup a lot better than the execution. So the setup is that, what's her name? Miu. Okay, Miu is the girl, and she's like cursed to be like she's the chosen one, but it's a curse to be the chosen one. So like all the demons in Japanese folklore want to capture her, because her if you were to eat her, you would live forever. If you drink her blood, you gain all this power, and if you marry her, your demon clan will become like the super duper best demon clan. So her childhood friend Kyo, who it was like her little boy crush, the first kid she ever loved. He's been gone for 10 years, and he comes back as like lord of his demon clan, and he rescues her, right? So her problem is that all these demons want to kill her and, just eat her and destroy her. She likes this boy. She's loved this boy since she was a little kid. She's attracted to him, but she doesn't know if he loves her. Is he saving her only because she will grant his clan all this super duper power, or does he love her? So that's her problem. Which is good. I like that, she doesn't know what he's about. She doesn't trust him quite yet, so she's kind of waiting and like, pushing off his advances while she figures out if he's a trustworthy man. And then she finds out all these good things about him, like all the members of like, it's like a traditional Japanese household. He's really respected by all of his servants in the clan and all that. And he's got a lot of drive and determination. My problem with it is the actual romance. So Kyo's problem is that he wants to go to like second and third base, and Miu wants to stay at around first base, even though she likes him. And so this is it's the classic Japanese hijinks where like he'll grab her boob and she'll say "baka" and then she'll slap him, and it's I'm kind of annoyed by that. I think real romance isn't just the physical lovey-dovey, I call it sparkle bubbly side of romance. It's the feelings and the emotions, and it's actually coming to know another person and understand who they are. The setup is great because there's all of this like tension where for me to survive, I've got to like stay with this demon clan, and he says he likes me, but does he really like me? That setup is really interesting, but in execution, it just becomes like a whole bunch of excuses to throw them into vaguely sexual PG-13 situations. So here's why I don't like it. I feel like it's not enough just because feminists would hate it for me to then say I like it. I like it just because feminists would hate it. The reasons feminists would hate it is I think that feminists see any kind of like assertive form of male sexuality as threatening in rape culture. But the way I sympathize with feminists is that Blackbird doesn't teach a good sexual ethic. They are playing around and fooling around, and like they're doing like they're doing as much sexually as they could possibly get away with in a teenage kids magazine, really is what Blackbird is about. And my problem with that is she's not discovering anything about him. She's not learning who she is. She's not thinking about, is this a man who should actually be my husband? Instead, it's a series of excuses for, tee-hee, oh no, we got to rip off your shirt to get the spider off you, or whatever. There's also a bad guy threatens her with rape at one point, and this reminded me of like the whole kerfuffle over, what was it, Goblin Slayer, because Goblin Slayer depicted a rape in it, and it's kind of like a dark fantasy. So that brings up that whole like feminist bag of issues. So same thing. I think it is really important for us to have stories where evil is represented and, the dark side of human nature is represented, which includes rape, right? So the way you could use rape in a story is to kind of make the moral point. Rape is wrong. Rape is bad. And because it's a bad guy and they save her, I think that was kind of like Kanoko Sakura Kuji's point. Like, it's not romantic to get raped. It's romantic if a hero dashes through the window and beats up the bad guy and saves you, right? But just overall, because I don't have any connection with the characters, it just felt sensationalistic, and it felt like like the threat of rape wasn't adding anything dramatic to the story. It was just there for like, oh, it's so risque. Oh, this poor girl, she's in so many risque situations. So unfortunately, Blackbird, even though I liked the setup and I initially liked how she was being smart about not entering into this relationship right away, I wouldn't let my daughter read this. I wouldn't even let like a teenager read this, because I don't think that the sexuality of it is promoting like it's not promoting good morals. And I think like the best romances are rooted in a moral view of sexuality. And the moral view of sexuality, I think, is that because it can create kids, and because having kids can ruin your life if you are doing that out of wedlock, that's the whole point. That's the whole point of the romance is this a person who I should be having babies with or not? If you don't buy monogamy, if you don't buy the institution of marriage, then sex is just for pleasure. It's just something you do for fun. But if you understand that it creates babies, that changes the whole equation. And I don't like the vibes that Blackbird is sending about teenage sexuality. So, sorry, Blackbird. Oh, there was an interesting thing, though. So, Japanese cultural history time. The 8 servants of Kyo are called the Daitengu. And apparently, the Daitengu are like representative of like 8 mountain demons in Japanese folklore. And sometimes who they are will change depending on location. So, she kind of came up with her own list of them. She renamed them and kind of reworked them a little bit to be 8 handsome young men, to surround Miyu, because Miyu's really interested in lots of handsome young men. And then she shows like the prefecture of Japan, mostly in Western Japan, where that originated. The action, not much action to kind of appeal to like my, oh boy, guys beating each other up stuff. There's some hints at political intrigue, but the most interesting stuff didn't get developed because it was just wall to wall. Tee hee! Oh no, they tripped and fell on the bed. It's so sexually risque. Ha ha ha! And I don't think that's romance. It's sexy, but it's not romance. From Far Away, I've so got to like buckle down and write my From Far Away script, and why that's the best manga and the most romantic manga ever read. So Blackbird loses. Pandora Hearts, solid. I like their later work better, but absolutely solid manga. I think you'd have fun with it. Kind of a cool Alice in Wonderland vibe with some weird mysteries going on. So I'll keep checking this out. And no more Blackbird, I think. With that, I'm #1 Marmaduke fan. I love you guys, and I'll catch you later.